Hey, I'm Mike Tom, and happy to be joined by Frank King from Samaritan's Purse Canada. Frank, we often talk throughout the year. I think this is the first time, though, we've gotten to talk face to face. So, hi, how are you?
I'm just fine. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing very well, please. I hear in Alberta, you folks got a bit more snow than Manitoba so far, hey?
Oh my goodness, we've got about at least a half a foot, and the temperature is distinctly un-autumn-like and distinctly winter-like. So, there you
It,
go.
it's a good thing, though, because it ties in perfectly with some of your work at Samaritan's Purse Canada. You're getting ready for the big final push for the OCC shoebox drive. Tell us a little bit about Operation Christmas Child.
Yes, so Operation Christmas Child began in 1993, at least in terms of when Samaritan's Purse took it over. And since then, more than 200 million children in over 100 countries have received gift-filled shoeboxes from generous folks in Canada, the United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, and a couple of other countries as well. And the neat thing is, for many of these children, these gift-filled Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes will have been the very first gifts they will have ever received in their lives.
It's pretty wild to think about, right? How special and unique a gift is for a kid like that. That's just, my 4-year-old and 6-year-old, they wouldn't be able to imagine going a week without even a small gift of some kind from,
Oh,
when we're
oh,
out and about, right?
yep, yep. Yeah,
What's it
that's
like? What's it like when I know you've been on actual distribution trips? So tell us a little bit about, paint a picture for us, these kids opening up those boxes
yeah.
and seeing those gifts for the very first time in their lives.
Well, the range of reactions is truly astounding, Mike. In some cases, we have the kids, they are so excited. They're talking away, they're showing their friends the stuff. Sometimes they're trading stuff, which of course we're fine with. In other cases, the kids are very quiet. They'll open up their box, quietly look through it, then they'll close it up again, and they'll wait until they get home to show their parents and their siblings what they
Mm.
got. So it's the range of emotions is quite amazing, and it's fascinating to take it all in and just really appreciate how God is using this ministry to give hope to children who are living in some of the most desperate circumstances you and I can think of. And all of a sudden this box arrives from folks they're probably never going to meet in a country they may have never even heard of, full of school supplies, toys, hygiene items, things like that can make such a big difference in their lives. So it's thrilling to be part of this ministry, and it makes me so grateful to think of CHVN listeners and other listeners and Canadians across the country who are doing their part to provide this hope to children. And of course, the place to find out about all this is SamaritansPurse.ca.
Now you have another website as well, right, Frank? If people can't pack an actual physical box, or you just don't have time, there are other options, right?
Yes, in fact, this is the option my wife and I use every year. We go to packabox.ca and we can do the entire procedure online. It's kind of like shopping at Amazon. You pick your gender and your age range. You're presented with a basic basket of items. You can add to that if you want. And once you've packed all your shoe boxes, you can then check out, pay your money. And then what happens is later on in the new year, we get together hundreds of volunteers at our Calgary Processing Center to actually physically pack the boxes that folks have done online. And the neat thing is we saw a huge growth in packabox.ca boxes during the pandemic. And while that has eased off a little bit, we're still seeing that it's higher than it used to be before all the pandemic hit. So we're just so grateful that Canadians have said, yeah, this is a great way to do it. And again, it's a great way for my wife and I to do it because it lets us, we don't have to think about, especially we try to get boxes for older age boys because we're
Nice.
told that there's a bit of a shortage of those. And it's kind of hard to figure out what to put in boxes for older age boys. But we do it online. That's all taken care of for us. So again, that's packabox.ca.
Now, for the actual physical boxes, what are our cutoff dates then? Tell us about your big collection week this year.
Yes, yes. So National Shoebox Collection Week is November 13 to 19, and that's when you want to get all your shoeboxes at the drop-off locations across country. And the easiest way to find out where your closest drop-off location is, simply go to SamaritansPurse.ca, click on the Operation Christmas Child link, and right now they're all over the web page. And one of the boxes there will be find your shoebox drop-off location. And all you need to do is you need to just know your postal code, and it will tell you the closest shoebox within really up to 200 kilometers if you want to make a bit of a drive. And so it's very easy to find out, and I'm very thankful that Mike, you're going to post all the Winnipeg area locations for the shoebox drop-off location. So big thumbs up to you folks at CHVN.
You got it. Right in the news story of this, we'll post all those. And we'll also link to that find drop-off location as well for those of you that aren't in Winnipeg. So you can just click that. So, Frank, you started this in the early 90s. Well, not you. Samaritan's Purse started this in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Do you know how many gifts have been distributed in that time by chance?
Yes, more than 200 million.
Wow.
That's how many children who are living, poverty, war, whatever circumstances they're living in, that's how many children have received this help and hope through these Operation Christmas Child shoebox gifts. And here's a neat thing too is whenever possible, our partner churches in those countries, and for Canadian boxes, that's Central America, French-speaking West Africa, and the Philippines, whenever possible, at the distribution events or afterwards, all the children who have received shoeboxes are invited to something called the Greatest Journey. And that's a 12 lesson evangelism and discipleship program that we've set up with our partner churches, and it's offered to children after they receive their shoeboxes. And the neat thing is, millions and millions of children have taken this, and millions have come to faith in Christ through the Greatest Journey. And it's all possible because of those shoebox gifts. So a big thumbs up and thank you to all the CHVN listeners who make it possible. And when they pack shoeboxes, they carry out Mark 16:15. Go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole of creation. Every time your listeners pack shoeboxes, that's what they're doing.
Love it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of the boxes we have here, measure it, and then I'm going to see how many times around the world could 200 million OCC shoeboxes go. That's pretty incredible. Anything else you want to say to the people, Frank, before we let you go?
Yes, and that is folks can still order shoeboxes, flattened shoeboxes ready for filling, posters, all that sort of thing by going to SamaritansPurse.ca. But please note, Friday the 27th is your final day to be able to do that and get your materials before National Collection Week, which again is November 13 to 19. So if you want free shoeboxes, get on it ASAP.
I love it. Thank you so much, Frank, for joining us. Thanks for the work of OCC and Samaritan's Purse. And I'm sure we'll talk to you before then, but just in case, Merry Christmas in October, Frank.
And right back to you, Mike. And thank you for the generosity of all the CHVN listeners. You folks are a blessing to what God is doing through Operation Christmas Child.
Love it. Thanks, Frank.